How to create a blog post with ChatGPT? Let's get started. What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is David, and in this tutorial video, I'm gonna walk you through step 1 to step done on how to properly create a blog post from scratch using OpenAI's ChatGPT. That means I'm going to cover all the steps that you need to know. Everything from keyword research to creating an outline to creating meta descriptions, the body of the content, as well as tools, tricks, and services that you can use to better optimize the content for search. Because let's be clear, Google has their quality rater guidelines, which is experience, expertise, authority, and trust, better known as EAT. That means every piece of content should really be created by some sort of expert. Just take a step back and think, like, if you're searching for something on Google, like best cameras for vlogging, what do you want? Do you want an AI spun piece of content that's going to just regurgitate all the information on the web? Or do you want something that's created by an actual vlogger who knows what they're talking about? That's why experience, expertise, authority, and trust is more important than ever. So I don't want you using this tutorial just to create spun, lazy content. Yes, you can create a blog post in 10 minutes using ChatGPT, whoop-de-doo. That's not particularly helpful. Instead, you should be using these tools to craft blog posts more quickly, easily, and efficiently. Anyways, if you're ready to get started, let's jump into my laptop and begin. Welcome to my laptop. Let's begin. So the very first thing that you want to do when creating any type of piece of content for the internet is to do keyword research. You want to create content that people are looking for. Anyways, with ChatGPT, one prompt that I really like is to say, give 10 relevant unique topics under the category of, and then enter in a 1 or 2 word category, okay? And so I have just broadly speaking email hosting. Now, email hosting is a kind of a niche specific thing. And then it's like, sure, here's 10 relevant unique topics: email security features, how to choose the right email hosting provider for your business, importance of uptime, different types of email hosting solutions, benefits, email hosting for small business, role of email encryption, etc. And this gives you ideas of what content to create. And if you want to dive deeper into it, you can say something like, give me 5 keyword variations of number 2 that address unique search intent. So here's number 2. How to choose the right email hosting provider. And then it gives me these additional items right there: best email hosting provider for small business, cheap email hosting providers, secure email hosting for sensitive information, scalable email solutions. And so then once you have these specific keywords, you can take this, highlight this, and then you need to navigate to a keyword research tool. So I definitely recommend either Ubersuggest or Ahrefs, however you pronounce this. And then once you have access to either Ubersuggest or Ahrefs, then you want to navigate over here to the keyword research section within the tool. So I can pop this in over here: secure email hosting for sensitive information. Then we click on search. Then we get an idea if there's any search volume associated. That's step 1. You want to do keyword research. You want to create content that people are looking for. Create a working title for your blog posts. So one prompt that I really like to use to generate titles is this right here: create 10 compelling clickbait titles for, then enter in your keyword phrase. So I'm creating a blog post to go along with this tutorial on how to write a blog post with ChatGPT. Now, it generated a bunch of titles right here that are very good, and it's using language that I wouldn't think of to use myself, like this one: revamp your blogging strategy. But one issue that I'm having is that I really want it to contain the keyword phrase. And so you can just tell the AI to do specifically that. So create 10 compelling titles for this keyword. The title must contain the keyword, and then boom, here we go, 1 through 10. So for example, like I really like this one: get noticed online, from novice to pro, the future of blogging, and so forth. So if there's one that you specifically like this one right here, the future of blogging, how to write a blog post with ChatGPT, give 5 more titles like number 7, and then it can do exactly that, like the AI advantage, the ultimate blogging tool, creating killer content, revolutionize your blog, etc. You don't have to copy and paste this specifically, but this should give you enough inspiration about how to create a compelling title that uses your keyword phrase. Generate an outline for your blog post with ChatGPT. So one quick little thing I like to do is use this prompt right here: generate an outline for a blog post, then enter in your keyword phrase, simply because it creates a high-level overview about topics that you should consider including in a nice broad structure. So talking about like introduction, understanding ChatGPT, preparing, actually writing the blog post, incorporating images, media, editing the blog post. It's not going to be super comprehensive, but it's going to give you a broad structure about things that you should consider including within your blog post. And of course, you should take your primary keyword as well and take this and take a look at what's currently ranking within Google. So for example, this Medium article, step 1, step 2, step 3. So it seems like Google kind of likes a step-by-step process. So, okay, maybe I have to incorporate a step 1, step 2, step 3 process, incorporate some suggestions over here as I'm crafting a blog post. Now it's time to start generating the body paragraphs of our blog post. So right over here is the outline, and I went ahead and copied the outline into a notepad so I could just copy and paste it into new chats. Now, the reason for that is simply organizational purposes. You can expand it down here using the search box, but I find that to be a little bit unwieldy, particularly if you're getting over 2,000 words in length. Whereas here, it's just more organized. We got the title right there, then we have the outline, and we're going to create the introduction paragraph, and then other associated body paragraphs. So let me go ahead and click on new chat. And all right, so now we have this right here. Briefly introduce the topic. We copy and paste this and explain why ChatGPT is useful for bloggers. We can go ahead and paste that in. Now, of course, you can expand upon this to your liking. So I have my ChatGPT prompt blog post you can check out if you want to add additional items to it. So for example, like write in a conversational way, in personable way as you're explaining something to a friend. So I can go ahead and take this, copy and paste that in, put the period right there, paste that, and let's see what we get. Okay, so now we have a useful introduction paragraph that we can leverage and edit to our liking. So it starts off with, hey, are you interested in starting a blog and struggling what to write? Well, you're in luck because we're here to help. Blogging is a fantastic way to do this. Why use ChatGPT? Another benefit is this. Overall, it's a valuable tool. Now, if you just plug this in, briefly introduce the topic, explain why ChatGPT is a useful tool for bloggers, it does give you a little bit shorter, more technical and to the point, concise, I guess, paragraph that you can leverage. But again, you're gonna have to play around with the different text prompts, which I have over here: general copywriting, conversational tone, sophisticated business tone, and then adjust things over here with the text with your outline as you have it, in order to get the optimal response that you're looking for. So it does take a little bit of time. We're literally talking about like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, just to come up with a prompt to generate the appropriate response that you are expecting. But anyways, the next step is to go through each one of these items and then generate a respective paragraph as required. Okay, so I went through all the individual sections within the outline and generated individual pieces of content. I also decided to break it up into individual chats over here just for organizational purposes, so I'm not overwhelmed with one chat that has like 3,000 words. And it's also easier to break it up into individual chats because then you could always ask questions, ask it to expand on specific topics, rephrase the prompt in a unique way to get a better response that you're looking for. Now, again, I do recommend using different prompts. So like write in a conversational tone, use sophisticated language, use simple language, use a formal academic tone, things like that to generate a response that's most appropriate for what you're trying to create. And so that's what I did. Okay, so I had this outline right here. That's what we generated in the outline. And I went through everything and generated respective paragraphs and pieces of content over there and asked to expand as required. And I also went through the outline as well and just added things that I think are important, like preparing to write a blog post, ChatGPT, account creation. So like we did keyword research and took a look at the first item that's ranking. And then they talk about step 1, open an account. So we need that. Account creation, keyword research. You got to use your brain. You can't just rely only on the AI. Now I have everything over here in a blog post. It's in a rough draft, obviously. This is not ready to publish at all. But within about 10 minutes, I would say, I have 1,700 words roughly ready to go. And so that is it. Okay, so by this point in time, you should have a nice rough draft of your blog post. Again, it's not ready to go. Like get started writing a blog post, create an account, stay organized, keyword research, titles, outline, that type of thing. Body of the paragraph, all this other content over here. And some of it I need to add in myself, etc. But at this point in time, you should have a good rough copy, good rough draft to begin crafting a proper, ready to publish blog post. All right, so now we have our blog post, a rough draft, ready to go. So at this point in time, you have two options. A, you can use a bunch of different tools and services to better optimize the content, or B, just optimize the content yourself. What you can't do is just take this piece of content and publish it on your website, because it is functionally spun content. Because what ChatGPT does is it just regurgitates information from the internet into a blog post. Like if I type in how to eat a durian, it's going to give me the same answer that it gives you. And so it's going to be a bunch of duplicate content. The goal, again, is not to create garbage content that's just regurgitated. We want to use these tools to help us create blog posts more quickly and easily that come out great. So while I'm personally going to do option B and pack up and get a cup of coffee and take my laptop over here and just blog for an hour or two and edit the content myself, I know a lot of you want to use different tools and services to better optimize the content. Now, the first tool I do recommend is to check everything through Originality AI. So this is a paid tool, but what it will do is it will check to see how much AI content is written in a piece of content. Then you know how to better optimize that content over time to get the rating down from like 95% AI written down to something maybe like 10% AI written. Again, totally optional, but Originality AI is pretty good at detecting content written by ChatGPT. You're also going to want a paraphrasing tool like Quillbot or Jasper AI. What a paraphrasing tool does is simply paraphrases a paragraph. So that means it makes the paragraph a little bit more unique and different from the original. You can then take the output from Jasper AI or Quillbot and then put it into something like Grammarly to help check the grammar and improve the language overall. You can then take that final product and move it over to Surfer SEO to better optimize the content for on-page SEO. And finally, the last step is the human touch, which is where you come in. You should be sitting down and editing and adjusting your content to make sure that it meets Google's experience, expertise, authority, and trust guidelines. Now, once you do all of that, your blog post is functionally ready to go. So you're going to want to create a meta description, which I'll show you how to use ChatGPT to do that for, as well as how to use ChatGPT to make sure it meets quality rater guidelines itself. So anyways, I'll end it there. Let's continue. The first tool I want you to be aware of is Originality.ai. It's a plagiarism checker and an AI detector. Now, it goes back to Google's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Google wants content that's written by people who know what they're talking about, not spun content created by an AI algorithm. And so it's fine, in my opinion, to use AI tools to help you create content, but not to rely on it 100%. Anyways, it costs 1 cent per credit. 1 credit scans 1,000 words. Once you create an account, here you go. This is what it looks like. You can scan it to detect AI or a plagiarism checker. So if you're hiring writers, you can detect AI. Your own content, you can run it to detect AI. Now, if you just copy and paste anything from ChatGPT into here, it will say 95 to 99% AI. And so it's good to use Originality AI after you use other various tools, or you edit the content yourself to make it more original, then pop it into here and see what the score is, and then get it down to as low as possible. I would say minimum 20% AI detected or 80% original content at an absolute minimum. Anyways, that's the tool, Originality.ai. Next up, we have paraphrasing tools Quillbot and Jasper AI. So Quillbot is free to use with their standard mode, but you do have to upgrade to access fluency, formal, simple, creative, and so forth, as well as to unlock the maximum setting for synonyms. So you can just pop your entire article into here. It'll tell you how many words it is. So it's just the introduction paragraph. And then it'll give suggestions over here. You just click on the word, and then it gives you other words that are similar to just change the word to something else in order to paraphrase the paragraph. Jasper AI can do something similar. So this is a suite of AI writing tools, but one feature that I like from Jasper AI is you highlight it, then you click this little rephrase button over here, and then Jasper AI will get to work and generate an alternative paragraph. And this is pretty good at generating content that's a little bit more unique. And so once you go through your blog post with Jasper AI or Quillbot, then I suggest navigating back to Originality.ai and then running it through a scan to see how original the content is. Next, another tool you can consider using is Grammarly. So whether you've edited the entire blog post yourself or you've been using a paraphrasing tool like Quillbot, you're still going to want to run the end result, the end of blog post through Grammarly, because it will help change wording to make it a little bit less like an AI wrote it and more natural and more correct in general. So Grammarly is pretty useful because the free plan does allow you to check grammar, spelling, and punctuation. The premium plan allows for full sentence rewrites, word choice, and tone suggestions. So over here we have clarity, engagement, deliverability. So this is a premium account. Then you just jump in here, you click a bunch of different buttons, and it changes the wording in the paragraph to make it a little bit more accurate and correct. Now, of course, you want to just make sure to read it, make sure it is the actual correct word that you want. You don't want it to be making changes that you don't agree with. But from my experience, Grammarly is usually correct with their suggestions. Anyways, that is Grammarly. Next up is Surfer SEO. So again, this is totally optional, but once you've created your article and you've run it through Grammarly and you've fixed the spelling and sentence structure and whatnot, I definitely recommend plugging it into Surfer SEO because this allows you to check the on-page SEO for your article. Now, typically the way I use Surfer SEO is I publish content on my website, let it sit for a month or two, see where it ends up ranking, and then I run it through Surfer as a way to better optimize the content. So like when I have an article like, okay, this article's on page 6 or 8 or 5, then I'm going to run it through Surfer to check everything to see how I can better improve it and move it up in the SERPs. Now, you could just do this before you publish the article on your site, whatever. Now, Surfer SEO is a paid tool, but it's very helpful because it gives you a broad score, tells you how many words you have, how many words you need, your headings, paragraphs, images, and other items that you need to add to the article to make it more comprehensive and complete. And this is just very helpful, particularly if you're creating an article with ChatGPT, because it's not going to be optimized for on-page SEO. You're going to have to optimize it for on-page SEO, and Surfer SEO specifically helps with that. Write a meta description for your blog post. So at this point in time, your blog should be 99% ready to publish. And you're going to want to have a meta description. And this is something that I like to use ChatGPT for. It's just to create these little meta descriptions. You can write it yourself, of course, but it's just easier. Now, it has to be 160 characters max. 160 characters, not words. So make sure you title it that. So, for example, I like to use this prompt, write a meta description that's 150 to 156 characters, or 150 to 160, or just 160, whatever. You can play around with it to your liking. Characters for a page titled How to Write a Blog Post with ChatGPT, and boom, here we go. And of course, you can edit and adapt this to your liking. So write 5 meta descriptions that are 160 characters long for a blog post titled this, whatever, and it'll give you a bunch of different options. You can pick and choose and add words to it, adjust, read it. You know, maybe I like a little bit of this and I like a little bit of that, and put it together. Boom, then you have your meta description. And finally, I like to evaluate the top articles as well as the article that I created based on Google EAT standards. And so this text prompt is very helpful. So it starts off as, what is Google EAT, E-E-A-T? And Google EAT, E-A-T. Now the reason it says E-A-T is because the information that ChatGPT has is prior to Google updating EAT with another E for experience. So just be aware of that. But it's very helpful because now we have a response right here, which is, okay, this is what Google EAT is. And then you can just navigate down here and be like, great. Please evaluate the following article based on this criteria on a scale of 1 to 10. You must include this criteria, because if you don't, which I did right here, please evaluate the following article. It's going to say, all right, great. I can't do that. I'm an AI language model. But if you put in based on this criteria on a scale of 1 to 10, boom, here's the article. This article, because it's ranking number 1 for the keyword that I'm going after, then it's going to tell you like, okay, great, I can. So gives you different scores. For expertise, it has an 8 out of 10. For authoritativeness, 6 out of 10. And for trustworthiness, 7 out of 10. So authoritativeness is a little bit weak. So in my own article, I can make it a little bit stronger. And so the authors on the subject is not well established in the article. The author does not reference, while the author references sources and examples, there's no clear indication of the author's credentials or reputation in the industry or community. And it's quite clear over here. Just have an author bio right there. Software developer here. There's no author bio down here really, so it is a little bit weak. Anyways, it's just helpful because you can review the top ranking articles and get an idea of what they're weak on and how you can improve your own article. And of course, once your article is indexed itself, then you can pop in your own article and see how it stacks up to Google's expert authority trust standards. Anyways, that is it for this tutorial. Alright everyone, that's it for this tutorial video on how to properly create a blog post from scratch using ChatGPT. Now I just want to emphasize that now more than ever, it's really important to know what you're talking about. You should be using these AI tools to help you create content more quickly, but not be relying on them 100% in a very lazy way where you're creating a blog post in 10 minutes and then just publishing on your website. That is a terrible idea. Instead, you should be developing an AI writer process where everything that you create, you have some type of process that content goes through, and it's also reviewed by an expert to make sure that it's quality, unique, and helpful. Anyways, I'll leave it there. My name is David. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.